right, guys, welcome back. Today is day 4 of 100 of fixing the things that bother you and making your life better. And the stacks that I'm getting already are amazing. Today, we are building the ultimate aesthetic desk setup for creativity. Look, this was my workspace, a place where ideas were meant to happen, but to be honest, it's where I couldn't focus. It was a big mess of tangled wired and the half-built corpses of other projects, distracting clutter, and too many messy things to look at. And so I found myself putting things off, unable to get into that smooth work groove that you need to be creative. It felt like trying to run in deep mud. So I decided to do something about it. I decided to fix my workspace today using a plan based on how the human mind works. It's a method I call my Make 5 method. I got a whole book on it. I'll link that below. But my goal for here was to start to create a space where it's easy to work, a place where I could sit down and start recording or creating right away. And this is the result. Part 1, the philosophy from draining energy to fueling creativity. Before we look at the new setup, we have to know the why. Why was my old desk so bad for my ideas? Well, there's a real science to this. A study from the Princeton University of Neuroscience Institute found that a messy space literally fights for your attention. This makes you work less well and feel more stressed. Every item that's out of place is a tiny distraction that pulls your focus away from what you're trying to do. This isn't just about feeling messy. Clutter can raise stress hormones in your body, and your brain has to work extra hard just to ignore all the things that don't matter. This leads to something called directed attention fatigue. And look, we already have a hard enough time with this stuff with our phone. So this constant filtering work uses up your brain power, leaving you with less mental energy for the hard thing and the hard thinking you need to do to be creative. So a messy desk really does lead to a messy mind. An empty desk does not lead to an empty mind. So my old setup wasn't just messy, it was making my work harder. All right, so the answer isn't just to clean up, it's to build a whole new plan and a whole new environment built around my Make 5 method. The main idea is to remove roadblocks. I need to make time, so I set aside time to finally fix this space. The second is make space. And so the goal was to make a physical and mental space for my ideas to grow. The third and most important to this project is to make do. This means using what you have to get started now. Not later, no excuses. You don't need to buy a new webcam. You just need to get going. Fourth is to make peace. Feel good about where you are, where you came from, where you're going. Fifth is to make money with what you have by helping others or make a difference. This way of thinking is supported by something called the attention restoration theory. The theory says that calm, clean spaces help us get our focus back. By making a space that is calm and neat, we give our minds a chance to breathe. This is not about making a plain empty room. It's about picking things for a space that works well and makes you feel good. A neat workspace is a blank canvas for your ideas. Part 2, the foundation, ergonomics and core hardware. All right, the tour starts with the two most important things, the desk and the chair. Following my make do rule, I looked at what I already had. The main piece is this standing desk. Changing between sitting and standing is good for your body and helps you focus. The wood on top also adds a touch of biophilic design, which is just about bringing a little bit of nature inside, and it helps the place feel warmer and calmer than a cold surface. Just as important is the chair. To set it upright for my body, the height is set so my feet are flat on the floor, the back of the chair is set to support the curve of my back, and the armrests are set so my shoulders are relaxed and my arms bend at a nice angle, but this doesn't actually match the height of my desk, so I have to figure that out. A comfortable setup is important to stop pain, unless you go with an incredibly uncomfortable setup on purpose, in which case you're constantly moving and fidgeting and adjusting how you sit. And then that also helps take away pain. It's weird. Like if you just sit on a plain wooden stool, you might have less discomfort than you do in a totally nice padded chair. Human bodies are weird. All right, and the screen. So I already had this iMac screen. I have a great screen hooked up to my PC. I just end up using it less. There's something about this that's easy to use. I like the crisp lettering that I get rendered on this 5K screen, and I actually like it more than my 4K larger monitor. So go figure. As part of my plan to make space, I mounted it on this basket I just made do with what I have. So the top of the screen is my eyes are at about the 2/3 line on the screen, and that's just where I want them. It's an arm's length away, and that helps reduce neck pain. And then I got my cable management, waka waka waka, all squared away there. Okay, tactile experience. Part 3, peripherals, lighting. Okay, following my make-do rule, I looked at the keyboards I have. I had some cheap, they feel squishy, like they come with a computer, some cheap old keyboards. But when I was actually writing novels, just like a piano player might invest in a decent piano, or a guitar player might invest in a decent guitar, as someone who typed for a living and did all their writing, I invested in a nice keyboard. So this is my second DOS keyboard. I really like a lot about it. One, you got this little ruler in the back and you can adjust the height with it. But what I like the most, and this will take me just a moment to think through, it's really heavy. So it doesn't slide around when I'm typing or when I'm pressing on it. It has very nice clicky tactical keys. They're a cherry switch. I'm not sure which one. I'd have to look it up. I did buy a whole sample pack. And this one actually, the key engages before it bottoms out, and you get the click before the bottom out. So you can actually type without bottoming out the keys if you want to. I love the way this feels, and I love the way it sounds. There's something about the clicky sound that just helps settle my brain into writing. I really, really enjoy it. Obviously, I don't have someone in a cubicle next to me. The other thing is a mouse. Actually, this one, I'll put a link. This is the Razer Death Adder. It's a wired mouse. It's super light, and it was really affordable. I like it. Works just fine. I had a very nice Nasita Phoenix mouse, and I use that probably since 2017, and it finally died. I really like that one too, but I'm fine with the cheap mouse right now. Oh, also this pad on the keyboard, this goes right in front of the keyboard. It helps me rest my wrists on it, and it feels really nice. I don't have an ergonomic keyboard with the little twist in it. Maybe that'd be nice, but I haven't needed it. All right, lighting. Lighting is another thing here for our tactical experience. It's one of the biggest ways to change up the space, and people don't think about it. So to fix my lighting, I gathered up a bunch of different lights. I have this little yellow light here. I have this whole bar of LED lights here that kind of just gives a nice light rising over the window. And then when I close the curtain, it gives a nice glow behind that. And then I have this big bright, this is a super bright bulb, and I just bounce that at the ceiling to get the light to bounce fairly uniformly across the room. Okay, so warm lamp off the side. I'm left-handed, so my notebook's on the left side. All right, before I show you my favorite part of this setup, the system I built to keep it organized and my mind clear, I want to hear from you. So what's one thing on your desk right now that's distracting you? I'm just curious. Sometimes, like this little guy, my kids gave me this beholder for one of the holidays. And actually, a little eye on it glows. This is a little reminder to be creative, have fun, and reminds me of my kids. So life's an adventure. Okay, Part 4, the art of organizing. What is the point of doing all the cleaning if it's just going to get recluttered again? Look, so this is where the real magic happens. A beautiful setup is useless if it gets messy again after a week or a day or a minute. The goal for me is to build a system that makes staying neat feel easy. And the number one enemy of a clean desk for me is wires and papers. So, to fix this, the wires go into a tray under my desk. They're tied together and they run down one of the desk legs, out of sight, out of mind. They're actually in a tray so that when the desk goes up, all the wires go up. And when the desk goes down, all the wires go down instead of them just like getting pulled at the wall. We don't want that. The desk itself, let's see, this is a fully brand desk. I got this back early, probably 2019. It's been a very good desk. It's actually really solid, which is great because when I'm standing and working, I'll just like lean on the desk and this. And then when I was writing my master's thesis, I had a treadmill under here and I literally walked marathons of just walking while writing and typing and thinking and working. And that felt really good, actually. It was with the walking desk, I felt like after hours of work, I actually felt good and rejuvenated instead of just exhausted. If I sit, I get really tired, but if I walk, I feel great. Okay. Yeah, everything has a home and it's not on the desk and it's not under the desk. So if I take a few seconds to sweep, sort, and standardize in the beginning, and if I take a few seconds to sweep, sort, and standardize at the end, good to go. All right, and part 5, a personal touch and a system for ideas. Finally, the workspace should not feel plain or have no personality, right? It's not a cubicle in a cubicle farm. It should show who I am. And right, I showed you this little guy. I got my plants. This plant actually I used to have in my classroom. This little guy I used to have in my classroom too. And this plant's weird. The more I neglect it, the better it does. Go figure. Okay, well, let's get these all kind of nestled back. Ah, a fruit fly. I'll deal with you later. Okay. That looks better. All right. So this part 5, the personal touch, is about making peace with my work and this space. The setup is simple. I have some key non-digital tools. If I need to get out of my computer, get out of my head, a simple to-do list, just a notebook and a pen. If I need new ideas, I can write them down. So look, in conclusion, my old desk was a place where my attention went to die, full of mess and distraction and half-finished projects. This setup, safe, clean, calm. Every single thing from the chair to just the 2 wires coming off the desk was chosen on purpose to remove roadblocks and help me get into that smooth state of working. So building a nice and useful workplace is not about buying the most expensive stuff. It's about understanding how your space affects your mind and making choices on purpose. It's about following a method to make do with what you have, to make space for your mind and work, to make time, because when you're not wasting time with the things on your desk, you have the time to do the things that you choose and actually matter. So we've made a space that gets out of our own way so we can finally do our best work. Putting effort into our workspace is putting effort into yourself and your ideas. It's about building a starting place for yourself. Look, if this inspired you to rethink your own creative space, think about subscribing for more videos on design and work and fixing the little things that bother you to make your life better. All the items I talked about today will be linked in the thing down below. Thanks for watching. Can't wait to show you what I get up to tomorrow. Talks about distractions in our visual environment impeding our brain's ability to function. We have a dead link to Stanford. Great. We have one from DePaul showing clutter's real effect on mental health, productivity in the office from 2021. Is this, where's my source? Positive correlation between office clutter, emotional exhaustion, and stress. This could be a correlation versus causation thing. Who really knows? Home office clutter employee-related behaviors adversely affected by office clutter. Okay, these things do, and from personal experience, you probably know these things do have an effect. Workspace disorder does not influence creativity and executive functions. So this article, PubMed from 2 years before, describes the opposite. So what's real, what's works? I don't know. Do your own experiment, see what happens. I'm really pleased with what we've made here. Other way. And for longtime viewers of the channel who are keeping track at home, yes, I did make my bed and clean my room this morning. Here is that evidence.